Okay. Secret stream. Secret stream. Oh, I fucking misspelled trial. I put trail instead of trial. Hold on. Trial. We'll try and beat Trial 5, not Trail 5. I'll put an extra L in there just why not? There we go. Trial 5. I know the English language and whatnot. I know how to speak this language and spell it with all its I's and E's and bullshit thems, and there's fucking 18 different theirs, and I'm good. I'm good. Let's just get right on into it. Get right on into it. Yeah, okay. I think everything should be good. Load the selected saved data. Yes, because there is no other saved data. So it better be this one. Imagine I didn't save yesterday and I have to do fucking probably like 4 hours of shit. Hey, what up? Do I have my water with me? I do, good. So what do you think, Mr. Wright? I think the prosecution is as confused as we are, yes. And when we have assholes like Jake Marshall and Angel Starr, everybody gets even more confused. I'm telling you, I love a lot of the characters in this game. You are not one of them, Emma. After all, the victim was murdered in 2 different places at the same time. And a different suspect was arrested at each of the crime scenes. Which means Meekins is not my defendant or my client. Which means I'm just gonna blame him and say, you're good. Lana. Good morning, Mr. Wright. I apologize for yesterday. I was indisposed. I hope they didn't hold you too long for questioning. We just finished, actually. I'm used to all-nighters, though. So how'd it go? It's as Mr. Wright suspects, the police are clueless. I figured as much, so I struck a plea bargain. A plea bargain? What do you mean by that? We agreed that if I told them the truth behind this simultaneous murder, they wouldn't seek capital punishment. That's what I mean, Emma. But Lana, don't tell me you... Much to my regrets, I'm as much in the dark about this as they are. Miss Skye, we found trace evidence of a certain person in the police department's evidence room. They belong to Officer Jake Marshall. What kind of trace evidence? Blood-stained fingerprints, to be exact. That's the trump card I have up my sleeve today. You do understand what this means, don't you? In order to defend my sister, you're going to accuse Mr. Marshall. We have to play the cards we're dealt. Isn't that right, Miss Skye? Do what you have to do, Mr. Wright. Uh-huh. Yep. This trial, man. Do I even remember anything that happened yesterday? No, I don't. This is gonna be a nightmare. Let's look at the court record. Ah, nightmare. Man, there's so much fucking evidence. I'm going on to the 3rd page. The most we've ever gotten in any case is maybe here on the 2nd page. I'm gonna spray this in Edgeworth's eyes like I did Jake Marshall's eyes. Good thing I have this unstable jar. I'm gonna throw it at somebody today. All right, court is now in session for the trial of Miss Lana Skye. The defense is ready, Your Honor. The prosecution is... Don't start your finger wag with me. I'm afraid you'll have to clarify. It takes 30 minutes by car to reach the police department from the prosecutor's office, yet the victim, Bruce Goodman, was slain at both places at the same time. But that's not physically possible. Hey, he didn't say he's ready. I don't know what's going on. Contempt of court, contempt of court. What's more, I hear the victim from the evidence room just disappeared. Yes, and the body eventually reappeared in the trunk of Mr. Edgeworth's car. Wow, this is one messed up trial. One of my duties as prosecutor is to present impartial evidence. Yet you seem to fucking fail at that all the time. Today I will present evidence relating to the murder at the police department. In so doing, I believe the way in which we should proceed will reveal itself. Now that's what sets Mr. Edgeworth apart. He sounds so on top of things. Emma, if you want to suck his dick, go over there and stop standing next to me. Even though he doesn't know what's going on himself. And that's supposed to be an admirable trait. Very well, let the trial resume. On the day of the crime, what exactly transpired at the police department? Mr. Edgeworth, you may call your first witness of the day to the stand. For its first witness, the prosecution calls... This is going to be a big reveal. Please let it be Dick Gumshoe. The suspect... Fuck! The suspect of the murder that occurred at the police department. The suspect? You mean the so-called murderer? Ooh, boy. Things are getting wild from the get-go. Yes, they are. Please let me turn the sound off before this bitch starts playing his stupid-ass megaphone. Will the witness please state his name and occupation? Yes, I am Officer Mike Meekins. I'm still not saying the word sir because he says it 18,000 times. It's gonna get old quickly. My occupation is, that would be murderer. All right. So you're telling us you're a professional killer? It was me. I'm the one who did it. What is... Oh, Meekins. This guy is apparently 6'2", because I looked it up yesterday. I thought Phoenix was taller than he is. Apparently he's 5'9". Fucking Meekins is 6'2". I'll never kill anyone again. You got to believe me. There's the first megaphone, by the way. You should be glad I turned the sound off. Just jam to the music. Fucking turn it up. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. You know, I'm what you... I don't know what fucking Judge was saying, but we don't fucking need to know. I'm what you would call part of the younger generations. Oh, you're, what, Gen Alpha? Gen Z? What would you call younger generation? A person whose actions adults can't possibly comprehend. Well, by the fact that you probably don't grow any facial hair, and you're gonna be baby-faced forever, and your neck does not support your walnut-sized head. Walnut being very big in this case. Please, Mr. Edgeworth, help me. Don't you start saying sir, too. Officer Meekins. Yes. Give us your report of the crime. Consider that in order. Yes, as you wish. After all, I am part of a generation that must be told what to do. I think every generation was, at one point in their life, told what to do. It doesn't matter. The fucking ancient Egyptians, people got told what to do all the time. I'm sure in the future, people are also going to be told what to do. You can't fault him for a lack of enthusiasm. Emma, put away your notebook, please. Unless it's fucking, you know, the Steve's notebook from Blue's Clues. That's the only acceptable notebook. Crime report. Hey, what's up, Brandon? I turned off the sound because, fucking megaphone man over here annoys the shit out of me, so we ain't listening to that. Aren't you supposed to be at school right now? What are you doing in stream? Although it's not my normal duty, I was assigned to guard the evidence room that day. Thought you could secretly stream? It's not really a secret. I put a thing in Discord. Did you read Discord? There's a reason why I'm streaming right now. Oops, I didn't mean to open that. I did? Oh, okay, yeah. I did think I could secretly stream then. I mean, my phone was dead? Oh, okay. I spotted a suspicious man on the security screen and rushed into the room. I was only doing what I was trained to do. I was suddenly attacked. I fought for my life. Then I did it. After that, I passed out until another officer smacked me awake. It's at a beautiful 6%. That is pretty beautiful. So the victim, Detective Goodman, attacked you. Do unto others before they do unto you. That's the Meekins family motto. I see. Then you fainted and a colleague helped you regain consciousness. Yes, he knocked me upside the head. Very well. The defense may begin its cross-examination. What I need here is more info to work with. Yeah, you know... I never would have thought I would have driven the 30 minutes it took me to get to my job. Just for them to go, the power's been out since Saturday, you could go home. Well, it would have been cool if you let me know that. Maybe not today. I don't know. When I was already here. Crime report. All right, let's just listen to some music. Hold it. Mr. Meekins, you work in the General Affairs Department, do you not? Yes, I am in charge of hiring new recruits. Yikes. Now there's a scary thought. Evidence transferal was taking place on the day of the crime, which meant many officers were given special tasks not ordinarily performed. I was in charge of guarding the Blue Badger. The Blue Badger? It's funny how this trial is not even about the one who's accused of the crime. Yeah, well, I mean, I guess this guy is accused of killing Bruce Goodman, but Lana is accused of killing Bruce Goodman, and so I don't even know anymore. This is a trial and a half. It's good. It's great. The lovely police mascot created by Chief of Detectives. No, I don't want to sit. No. Oh, I was to ensure it wasn't broken during the transferal process. That was my sole mission for the day. Half-baked trial. I see. Sounds like a very important mission. After the award ceremony finished that day, there were so many people running around that I relocated the Blue Badger to the evidence room. Oh, so that's why you went to the evidence room. Tell us, what did you see when you got there? I spotted a suspicious man. In order to enter the evidence room, you need an ID card, am I correct? Precisely, I have one right here around my neck. So then, your ID number should be listed on here, right? There it is, I found it. The fucking megaphone. There it is. This is the one right here. Could you please read us the number? Yes, it's not 4989596. That's my number, sir. I see. Huh. But the number 4989596 is shown as being used twice. Please explain. It's no real mystery. The first time is when I relocated the Blue Badger to the evidence room, and the second time is when I went to go get him after everything settled down. Well, the second time would be when you went to encounter Bruce Goodman in there, the suspicious person. Not when everything was getting settled down. I see, so it was during that second time then. Yes, that was when I spotted the man on the security screen. Alright, well, whatever. Sure, that was a roundabout way of explaining that, but okay. So you were attacked. Could you please tell us exactly what happened to you? It was a knife. A knife! Detective Goodman pulled a knife on you. What happened then? Well, with me charging in on him like that, he looked as surprised as I was. You aren't exactly the kind of person someone would want to run into. That's when I reacted. I swung my arms like an octopus, struggling to detain him. That's how I got this gash on my hand. Maybe if you just kept your cool, your hand wouldn't be. When I saw the blood trickling down my arm, I panicked. I grabbed the man by his collar. I fought for my life, then I did it. What exactly do you mean when you say you did it? I know I don't look the type, but I'm really into kung fu films, sir. Alright, Karate Kid, calm down. The man let his guard down for just an instant, so I snatched his knife from him. You took his knife. I spun him around and performed a disarming maneuver. I made sure to close my eyes like a man. See. He must have been desperate. The next thing I knew, his white coat was drenched in a sea of my blood. And then the next thing I knew, yes, he punched me right in my face. After that, I passed out until another officer smacked me awake. So if he punched you in the face and you passed out, then you didn't kill him. Like, I don't know what the fuck we're suspecting you of. Okay. About what time did you regain consciousness? No offense, but how am I supposed to know that? I was unconscious. I don't know. Maybe you look at a fucking clock, Meekins. Oh, right. According to the report from the officer that woke up the witness, it was about 5:30, so he was asleep for about 15 minutes. He hit me right in the head, too. I woke up crying tears of pain. That's nice. Or, I mean, it's nice that you recovered, that is. When I came around, though, I made sure to finish my mission. Meekins is the peak human. Your mission? Yes, the Blue Badger. I returned him to the entrance before things got out of hand. Well, we can all rest easy now. I believe we now have a fairly accurate picture of what happened. Yes. Only one thing remains unclear. Was the man this officer murdered really the victim? He's got a point. Yes, Officer Meekins. With regard to that, take a look at this. It was sent to my jail cell. Chief Gant delivered it to me just this morning. The chief delivered it? Here's the fucking cursed tape. Literally the tape we have to watch over and over again. What is that? A videotape. Yes, that's absolutely right. A videotape. And it's so long. It's so long. It contains footage from the security camera in the evidence room. Objection. What? But I specifically asked if there was such a tape, and I was told it had been mistakenly erased. That's quite a mistake. I just do what I'm told. It's the only thing I'm really good at. Looks like communication with the police department is as good as ever. Well then, let's have a look. Show us the video of you murdering the victim. Oh, please stop using that word of murder, sir. It scares me. A video of a real murder. Just what are we getting ourselves into? Also, we don't talk about school. Oh, the fact that you're not there. Look at it. This thing is so cursed. Because it's battery powered. It just dances till it dies. Please. So there's Bruce Goodman. We can't see his face, mind you. We obviously have no idea if it's him or not. This is Bruce Goodman's locker. So that means this has to be him. No one else can open it because it's done with fingerprints. Then here comes the fucking man of the hour. He did take a knife on him. Also, that looks like Edgeworth's knife, by the way. It doesn't even look like what you say? A fucking like the knife with the broken blade. And then he's fucking gone. But we know he passed by. Look at Edgeworth's face. Well, I believe we're all thinking the same thing. How can we deal with these unsettling feelings stirred within us? What the fuck does that mean? What the hell was that wriggling piece of plywood? That is the pride and joy of the entire criminal affairs department. They had to rescue designs. It's the Blue Badger. Why am I not surprised this isn't going smoothly? Yes, well, anyway, this tape seems to prove that the witness did indeed encounter someone in the evidence. Okay, I wanted to read that. Your Honor, instead of relying on clearly incomplete footage, the witness's testimony will suffice. Is that all right with you, Officer Meekins? Yes, as you wish. Made by Daddy Gumshoe, and you won't disrespect him. That's true. His face can't be clearly seen in the video, but there's no question that the other person was Detective Goodman. I mean, he opened the locker, which required Detective Goodman's fingerprint to do. The locker he opened is unquestionably Detective Goodman's locker, so it must be him. No one else could have unlocked it. What's this about a fingerprint? Each detective has been given a locker equipped with a fingerprint-activated lock. These locks ensure that each locker can only be opened by the detective it belongs to. Intriguing. That would mean the victim at the crime scene would have had to been Detective Goodman. Very well. The defense may begin its cross-examination. I don't know where this cross-examination will lead, but everything begins with contradictions. That's where I have to start. His face can't be clearly seen in the video. Oh, I already read all this. Can I actually watch the video? I think I can, but I can't fast forward it. At least we're not listening to the Blue Badger theme song. Because there's something I want to point out. So if you notice that very first locker at the top left, there's nothing sticking out of it. At the very end of the video, there's all of a sudden something sticking out of it, which means that it was opened and somebody stuck something in there. We've also figured out that that's Jake Marshall's locker, so that means Jake Marshall was in here at some point. So what are we trying to prove? That the Meekins did it? We're trying to prove that Jake Marshall did it, because his blood stained is on the locker. If I'm remembering correctly, because obviously I think it might have been Jake Marshall who did that, because yeah, now there's something in Jake Marshall's locker. So if I'm remembering correctly, Jake Marshall is the guard to the security room, And I think we like, and also this is his handprint. Like Jake Marshall overrid the locker, then put something in his locker. I don't fucking know. I'm really trying to remember. It's been such a long time. Tell me, were you able to get a good look at him? At the face of the man who attacked you with a knife? If you must label people as having seen or not seen the man's face, I believe I would be classified as the latter. The latter. But you were standing right in front of him, were you not? More to the point, you are the person who fought him, aren't you? Oh yes. But I didn't get a clear look at his face. I'm not the kind of guy who looks directly at people when talking to them, you see? Yeah, you also closed your eyes when you tried a disarming maneuver. Yeah, that's a good trait for a police officer. So I'm sure it was him. I'll bet my badge on it. But you don't know that for sure, do you? You never actually saw Detective Goodman's face. Well, I suppose you might say that. That is, if you must label people as having seen or not seen it. Since his face can't be identified in the video, only you can verify it. Why is everyone looking at me? If I had to label your stares as disturbing or... Meekins, eek. Having been shown a questionable video at best, we are not in the best of moods. Now please be more certain when you testify. Meekins is peak human. Yes. You claim the man who brandished a knife on you was Bruce Goodman. Tell us why you are positive it was him. About these lockers, is there no other way to open them? No, I myself tried all kinds of methods in the past. They only respond to registered fingerprints. I wonder what kind of methods he's tried. You know, now that I'm thinking about it, it was Jake Marshall who was in there. Because in the very beginning of the video, he opens the locker and a glove falls down. I'm pretty sure that glove was stuffed in the mechanism so that it didn't close and it couldn't lock. So it was actually Jake Marshall who was in there, not Bruce Goodman. Which kind of disproves the fact that Bruce Goodman was killed at the police department and he was instead killed in the parking garage, which brings us all the way back to square one that Lana Skye killed Bruce Goodman. So, if the man opened the locker's lock, which only responds to its registered fingerprints, then he must be the person the locker was assigned to. Exactly my point, and this too. The locker he opened is unquestionably Detective Goodman's locker. How do you know that information? I've heard rumors from people in the know. People in the know? The workers in the department cafeteria. They keep me informed. They also listen to my romantic troubles. For the record, the opened locker did indeed belong to Detective Goodman. I verified this information through a more reliable source. So the victim opened the locker with his own fingerprint. So it must be him. No one else could have unlocked it. However, the most important detail is not shown in this video, the man's face. If I may say something, please do. After all, you are the one being examined. I don't understand why the man's face is so important to this case. I mean, it was his hand that opened the fingerprint lock. And it was his hand that tried to thrust his knife into my body. My unsettling state can testify enough to this. Yes, you have a point, the footage doesn't lie. That is, unless the defense can find a problem with it. Mr. Wright, let's check the court record again. Is there a problem with the security video? Yes, there are multiple problems. Regarding the tape, the video contained on this tape, there is one thing in particular that seems rather strange. This contradiction leads to the possibility that the man may not have been Detective Goodman. This video contains such a contradiction? Interesting, Your Honor. I have a proposal. Yes, Mr. Edgeworth, I propose we have the defense point out to us this alleged contradiction in the video. How would he want me to point it out? Very well, proposal accepted. Let us further inspect this piece of evidence. It's the glove drop, yeah, I will now play the security tape. Here we go! Fucking round one! I guess this is technically round 3, because we watched it that first one, and then I watched it myself the second time. Meekins is peak human. Mr. Wright, please show us this contradiction you speak of. This is the first time I've ever had to do that. You can do it, Mr. Wright. It's set up so you can fast forward, rewind, or pause the video. Just take a good look and be sure to point out the right thing. Please don't play it too many times. I can't stand watching this video. How did this guy ever become a police officer? Now then, Mr. Wright, please enlighten us. Where is the contradiction that indicates the man may not be Detective Goodman? All right, It's either the glove drop or the other locker. Pause. Fucking this. Hold on, I'm just gonna We're just gonna rewind a little bit because I want to make sure it's in the right spot. The thing that's strange about this video has got to be this. Yes, that is strange. Something certainly seems unnatural about that. What could it mean? Sorry to interrupt, Mr. Wright, but you seem to have forgotten the point of this exercise. The point, what you are looking for is one thing and one thing only, something that indicates the man may not be Detective Goodman. All right, fine. All right. At least I did. I for some reason didn't get a strike on that, so I guess I could do this as many times as I want to. It's probably the locker then. Let me fast forward all the way to the locker. Well, as you boy, if you would have let us continue, yeah, no. Edgeworth says objection, and then we just are not allowed to speak our mind ever again. All right, let me play. I don't know. Do I point at the locker or the cloth? I'm gonna play at the cloth. The thing has got to be this. What could it mean? Okay, apparently. Okay. Let's play the video again. What the fuck? Actually, let me see. Look at this epic scene right here. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Meekins is peak human. I wonder if I point out the blood on him. I fucking hate looking at this thing. Well, I mean, it can't be Officer Goodman, right? Mainly because he is the victim. If he is not the victim in this thing, then it's not him. I don't know. I'm just gonna present him himself. Hold on a second. I need to use my eye drops. Well, we're using different dialogue, so maybe that's it. Well, I don't get it. Would you mind if I borrowed your eye medicine? Don't look at me with those bleary eyes. Before your eyes get too teary, perhaps you should think this through again. Fuck it, I'm looking it up. This is pissing me off. Okay. Day 2 investigation. No, I'm on the trial. Pause the video at 17:14:32 and choose the light above Goodman's locker. Fuck you. Let's listen to this song again. Let me see. Let me just pause. I want to look. Let's see. The light. 17. Oh, 17. Was it 14:32? 14:32. Yeah. So hold on. But real quick, I'm just gonna play it real quick. All right. Well, apparently Apparently, it doesn't work here. It has to be exactly at 32. Oops, I didn't mean to press that. Okay, well, hold on. We're going to fucking go through all this. Play the video again. Okay, at least I don't have any... At least I'm not getting any strikes for this. Just keep going. Hold on, we're not at 32. All right, we're at 32. The light. The thing that's strange about this video has got to be this. Officer Meekins. Do you mean me? No, the other Officer Meekins. As I understand it, the locker apparatus... Why is the music playing again? Why is it playing again? No, we're not on the video. We're not in the video. We're not in the video. No, I don't... No. This fucking cursed ass video. This is good. As I understand it, the locker apparatus works like this. Round what on this video? Round 87. When you grab the handle, a sensor reads your fingerprint if it's a match. The light turns on and the lock is released. According to my very limited experience, that's the way I understand it, sir. If so, then something is seriously wrong with this picture. Hello? Why are we just playing the video now? We could have paused it already. We could have stopped the video by now. We're still going. When the victim reaches for the handle to open the locker, let's rewind to a little earlier. Oh my God. And also, why is the security camera at penis height instead of, you know, in the corner somewhere? That I don't understand what the fuck this video is. All right, no, we're turning the music off again. I don't want to fucking listen to that. Here, notice the light. What's this? It's already lit. He's Michael Jackson. Precisely my point, Your Honor. The locker was already open before the victim grabbed the handle. Ah. He moonwalked. Oh, great. All right, the fucking Blue Badger theme song isn't playing anymore. What's the meaning of this? It's very simple, Your Honor. The locker wasn't locked on the day of the crime. But the locker locks are controlled by an electronic system. I dropped my slinky. When a door is shut, a sensor is triggered, and the locker is automatically locked. I know. It must have been broken down. Of course, I'm not an expert in this. That's not likely, Your Honor. The sensor would detect and report any malfunction. Oh well, it just goes to show novices should keep their mouths shut. Yeah, Judge, shut the fuck up. So then, Mr. Wright, do you have an explanation? Me, Your Honor? Yes. Why wasn't the locker locked? Me, Your Honor? Okay, why'd you say that again? Yes, well, you see, this isn't exactly my field. What do you think, Miss Scientific Investigator? Huh? Oh, maybe something like jam the system sensor? Something. Jam the sensor, say? There's something else that seems out of place in this video. Yeah, I thought so too. There's got to be another clue somewhere in this footage. Why the fuck is it our fucking job? Because this game wants everything to be the defense's job. And no character can think for themselves in this game until we point things out and just shove it in their face. Very well, let's inspect the video once more. The locker wasn't locked. Mr. Wright, please. Okay, I didn't want to read the rest of that sentence anyways. Glove. Dude, if you know, you're supposed to pause the video at 14:44 and pick the glove there. If this game does some fucking shit like that, I'm gonna be upset. Please watch closely. This is the continuation of the part I showed you earlier. So we are the only conscious human on the planet? Yes, we are. Phoenix Wright, my boy. The Blue Badger's freaking out. What's this? Something white fell out of the locker. But sir, it's been my experience that things fall out when doors are open. I often fall out and roll. We can't be sure that item was completely inside the locker to begin with. And what do you mean? The sensor triggers the lock when the door is shut. What if something was inserted? Say between the sensor and the door. Inserted. We're watching it again. We're watching it again. And every other human is hopping on his dick when he says something. Oh my God. This white thing wasn't inside the locker. It was stuck between the door and the sensor. Oh, I understand now. It's just like, I don't know what you were saying. 2 out of the 3 times it gets stuck in the door when I get out of my patrol. Oh, his tie. All right, I thought that's what it said. His tie gets stuck in the door. Instead of the door closing, my tie chokes me. But the object would have to be extremely thin to fit in the door. Not only that, it would also have to block electrical currents. It would need to be an insulator. Yes, an insulator. But at the crime scene, there just might have been something that fits the description. But sir, by insulator, I don't know. Why the fuck is it automatically skipping dialogue? I want to read. I think I've finally got this figured out. Very well. Will the defense please present the relevant evidence? What was this insulator that was stuck in the door? It was a glove. Take that! Glove! I found this near the locker. A thin rubber glove. But we can't be sure that was in the victim's locker. Yes, we can, because we just fucking saw it come out of the victim's locker. It has a tag that says SL9 incident. This video seems to depict the victim opening the locker, but that isn't the case. The lit lamp attests to this. Is this judge on crack? No, this judge needs to... Well, he was talking about his fucking eye drops earlier. On the day of the crime, even I could have opened that locker. Is this not so, Officer Meekins? It would appear so. Order, order, order. So are we to believe then that the victim, whom this witness stabbed in the evidence room, is not Detective Goodman? Do not be misled, Your Honor. What do you mean, Mr. Edgeworth? Defense has merely demonstrated that possibility and nothing more. The victim in the video is indeed Bruce Goodman. The prosecution will offer one more testimony to prove this. Officer Meekins, please testify about this. Me? I'm not sure what you're referring to. Oh, you mean that, of course. Is this a joke? Very well, begin your testimony. Secret stream? What's up? What is up? It is a secret stream. And just for right now, I've turned off the sound because Officer Meekins' megaphone annoys the shit out of me whenever he uses it. So I made sure to turn that off. We still get music though. There's also I'm sure we're gonna look at the video again, but you've missed us looking at the videotape like 18 times. Literally I don't know, a lot of times. There's one other thing that proves that the man was Detective Goodman. To enter the evidence room, one must use their ID card. When an ID card is used, there's a record of it. At the time of the crime, the detective had used his card. Meekins is peak human. Yeah, he literally the top of the top. He's apparently 6'2". This man is just an absolute beast of a man. An ID card record I see. I have the ID card record right here, Your Honor. The ID used at 514 is that of the victim. Just before the crime. Yes, without a doubt, this is the victim's ID. However, one thing does strike me as unusual. Several hundred cases should have been due for transferal. Why were there so few people using this room? This particular evidence room is only used for storing certain special cases. Special cases? Extremely violent cases involving police staff. Just hearing that makes my hair stand on end. Me too, although it doesn't make much of a difference. There were only a few cases up for transferal there, and most were cleared up by noon. Right. I see. Now let us move on to the cross-examination. So, oh man, dude, I don't even know. I just want to look at my court record. I don't want to present anything. So he used his ID card to go in, but our whole play this trial is we're trying to accuse Jake Marshall of being the one in there. I mean, just because it was Bruce Goodman's ID card that was used doesn't mean that it was Bruce Goodman. Especially because Bruce Goodman's ID card was found in the parking garage. Does it actually say that? Found at prosecutor's office crime scene, yeah. And so if he was killed at the same place, or at 2 different places at the same time, but he only has one ID card, It's more like I would believe that his ID card was actually at the prosecutor's office, not at the crime scene. Or not at the police department. But Jake, I don't know, Jake Marshall could have used it, I guess. I don't know. I'm trying to remember. My fucking brain is literally racking my memory to try and remember everything. So unlike your earlier testimony, you believe this to be rock solid, do you? Yes, solid as stone. If my hand weren't wrapped in bandages, I'd even give the V for victory sign. Well, use your other hand, Megaphone Man. Couldn't he just use his right hand for that? Let's hear him out fully. As we've seen, one never knows what he might say until the very last second. Is that card hanging from your neck one of those ID cards? Yes, this card right next to my cuffs. I keep it here so I won't ever forget it. But what if someone were to steal it from you, keeping it out in the open like that? Maybe I shouldn't wear it around my neck. Remember when I said 2 out of 3 times my tie gets stuck when I get out of my car? Well, the remaining time it's my ID card that gets stuck. Instead of the door closing, my ID card chokes me. Maybe I should just leave this one alone. At any rate, each police officer has only one ID card. Both the police department and the prosecutor's office can attest to this. Please proceed with your testimony. Let it be noted that this is the record the witness referred to. Let me see. Yes, that would be it, Detective Goodman. What's the matter? According to this, Mr. Edgeworth, your name is on here. So it is, Your Honor. And then everybody's going to be like, "Ugh, not that prosecutor again." Hey, maybe he's behind all of this. Being a prosecutor, he could hide the evidence. Mommy, is that man in blue a murderer? What the fuck? Hey, whoa, 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 whoa. Who's this kid? I'm going to kick this kid in the teeth. Who was that? It would seem the inquiry committee will want to speak with you again today. I have nothing to be ashamed of regarding my actions or their consequences. For now, let us continue with the cross-examination. Poor Mr. Edgeworth. It must be so difficult for him. At the time of the crime, the detective had used his card. Earlier, I believe you testified that when you asked the man to show his ID card, he pulled a knife on you. Yes, he didn't show me any ID card. Don't you think that's odd? I mean, if he had his ID card, all he had to do was show it to you. There wouldn't be any reason to draw a knife. Maybe he just panicked. Everything stems from contradictions. Let's point them out. Mr. Wright, what do you think? I'm confused. What? The problem with this ID card testimony is far too obvious. It's not like Edgeworth to miss something like this. You're thinking too hard about it. Come on, let's show them what we've got. I probably am thinking too hard about it, but what the fuck am I gonna present to you? Indicator lamp lights up when it's open. If I had read that, I probably would have been able to spot this on that very first one. You have to specifically look at the light. But whatever. The time of the crime, the detective had used his card. You know, I'd probably actually give him this. Even though it's not completed, if he lost his ID card, he lost his ID card the day of the murder. I mean, the problem is that it's only half written, and so he could have lost anything. And I'm sure Edgeworth would mention that. But if he lost his ID card, Jake Marshall had it. Jake Marshall is the one in charge of the crime scene at the parking garage, so that means he could just plant the evidence there. Music stopped. I'm a genius. Wait one moment, Officer Meekins. I'm not good at waiting. I have the victim's ID card right here. I found it at the crime scene. That makes sense. When I say crime scene, I'm not referring to the evidence room at the police department. I mean the other crime scene, the underground parking lot at the prosecutor's office. Your Honor, I have one more piece of evidence to present. It's a very important clue regarding the victim's ID card. Also, if you look at this, this thing here, the 9 is crossed out. Because it's his ID is 5'8", not 5'9". The number is so long, he could have just forgotten it and been like, oh shit, what's my ID card again? I don't know. That's something I would do. A lost item report. It's only half completed, but it shows that Detective Goodman had lost something on the day of the crime. Something important enough to fill out this report. Let me guess. You believe this something to be his ID card, right? I can't say for sure, but there's a high probability. On the day of the crime, Detective Goodman was not carrying his card. Order. So now, what does this all mean? It can only mean one thing. It doesn't even require much thought. The man Officer Meekins encountered in the evidence room was not Detective Goodman, but rather the man who stole his ID card. Order. Does the prosecution have a response? I have only one thing to say to the defense. Bravo, Mr. Wright. Okay, bravo. Allow me to summarize the defense's argument. At 5:15 p.m. on the day of the crime, the man in the evidence room Officer Meekins encountered was not Detective Goodman. There are two grounds to support this. First, the locker in the evidence room was already unlocked. Second, the victim lost his ID card. Am I correct so far, Mr. Wright? Yes. What's he up to? That being the case, we must inevitably arrive at a single conclusion. If the victim in this video is a fake, then the murderer in the evidence room is also fake. In other words, the security camera does not show the instant of the murder. I guess that's right. Is something wrong, Mr. Wright? Only moments ago you seemed content to be pointing your finger around. This isn't going to end well. I literally called this at the beginning. If there wasn't a murder here, then everything goes back onto Lana Skye. Exactly what have you gone to such lengths to prove? Explain yourself, Mr. Edgeworth. Defense has already done the explaining for me. The victim in this video is a fake, which means the murder did not take place at the police department at 5:15 on the day of the crime. So, the real crime could only take place at the one location, the underground parking lot, at the prosecutor's office, the murderer being Miss Lana Skye, the defendant. The evidence is compelling. A trustworthy witness. She fucking... Angel Star lied a lot in her trustworthy. I don't know. Big tits, yeah, but trustworthy, no. Observe the moment the defendant used the murder weapon. Ah. I knew that testimony was way too shabby. It was all a trap from the beginning. The activity in the evidence room still leaves many questions unanswered. Who exactly was the victim Officer Meekins encountered? And where did this person disappear to? However, this trial's purpose is to examine only the murder of Detective Goodman. Just so, Your Honor. Mr. Wright, you have to do something or else Lana. What do I do? How am I supposed to get myself out of this mess? Objection. One moment, Your Honor. What now, Mr. Wright? Don't tell me you're objecting to what you've just proven. Of course not, but I almost walked right into the prosecution's trap. What are you talking about? This cross-examination has proven one thing and one thing only. The security video did not show the actual murder. Why are we watching this again? I don't... just at least it's not playing the do song. At least it's not playing that. Am I going to point out the cloth now? Because there's a cloth right there. However, it cannot be said that it is unrelated to the murder in the parking lot. Specifically, large amounts of blood traces were found in the evidence room. The defense demands further examination into the truth of the matter. Mr. Edgeworth. Daddy Gumshoe worked hard on that song. I don't even know if he made the song. He at least made the thing, but I don't know if he made the song. Mr. Edgeworth, yes, Your Honor. If this court were to examine this further, other witnesses would be necessary. Is the prosecution prepared? I'm sorry, Your Honor. The prosecution considered the incident at the police department to be unrelated. We have not prepared any other witnesses for this incident. We say he made the song? All right. This just might be my chance. Time to call a certain Texas Ranger to the stand. Mr. Wright, do you mean, Your Honor, the defense would like to request a specific witness? Oh, whom do you have in mind? Someone we have reason to believe knows the truth. The truth behind the activities that took place in the evidence room. The prosecution requests to hear this person's names before deciding whether or not to comply. Very well then, Mr. Wright. This person whom you would have testify, what is his or her name? Fucking Emma Scott! No. The victim himself! Dick Gumshoe! I like the take that! Literally throws all of Jake Marshall at Judge. Take this! What was put in Shmeems? When Jake Marshall appears on the screen? Let's see. That's true. That is very true. That's very accurate. Officer Jake Marshall. Why him? I can't let Edgeworth know everything just yet. He is in charge of the evidence room. I feel we should hear what he has to say. The prosecution agrees to the defense's request. Since he was responsible for guarding the room, we should hear his testimony. Texas dickhead. Fortunately, he works in the police department. We shouldn't need longer than 20 minutes to prepare. Very well. All right, I don't think we're gonna see Officer Meekins again, so I'll turn on the sound effects. The court will take a 30-minute recess while the witnesses fucking whatever. I know how to say that word, but I missed it, so we're gonna have to really think about it. Subpoenaed, I think that's how it's pronounced. Will the prosecution please prepare the witness during this time? We will, Your Honor. Court is now in recess. Hey, what's up? There's no stopping you, is there, Mr. Wright? Well, I have a perfect record so far, and I would like to keep the perfect record. What do you mean? You called for Jake Marshall. It seems you figured everything out. Officer douchebag. I haven't figured anything out. Lana, you're the one who knows everything. Emma, you always know everything. Why don't you just tell us? Mr. Wright is trying his hardest to protect you. I don't recall ever asking for his protection. How can you be so cold? Don't you trust us? I keep dropping shit. This is what happens when I fidget with my other hand. My pen, my slinky, my knife. Don't you trust me? Hope I'm not interrupting anything, pals. You can never interrupt, Gumshoe. Never interrupt. Oh, guess I am. I'll come back later. No, come back, no! No, Gumshoe! All right, he's back. You've got a lot of nerve, pal, making a detective run all around while on duty. And to top it off, you call me here. I've seen happier people at funerals. Sorry, detective. Gumshoe, come back. Gumshoe, come back. You could blame it all on me. I'm not doing that, that's automatic. Okay. I didn't see you there, Chief Prosecutor Sky. That's okay. So have you brought what I asked? Oh, fucking get to the point. You mean this, right? Wow, that's a lot of paper. My apologies, detective. Due to my present circumstances, I was forced to use Mr. Wright's name when making my request. My name. Never in a million years would I have thought it was you who asked me. Could I bother you to bring me the SL9 incident files? I'll need them by noon. Talk about crazy. The SL9 incident. Alana, that's... I thought Mr. Wright might need them, so I had them brought here. Here, you might do well to read them. Yeah, in the 20 minutes we have in fucking recess or whatnot? I can't believe you, the chief prosecutor, were a witness in that case. Miss Sky was a witness. The Joe Dark killings. It's all 2 years ago. Take it from me. You don't want anything to do with serial murderers. Speed read. Oh, what? Now that I've brought you your stuff, you're just gonna ignore me? Emma. But why? Why is your name in here? What? My name's in there. I don't know, unless... No, it couldn't be. Lana, this SL9 incident, is that? That's the classification number the police filed it under. 2 years ago, the rest of the world knew it as the Joe Dark killings. The Joe Dark. No, Lana. That's over with. No. And she died. Oh, no, she ran away. Never mind. Emma, wait. You know what? I just remembered. I gotta be somewhere. Sorry, pal, but I'm out of here. Damage. Oh, what's up, Henry? Jake Marshall, Angel Star, Damon Gant, Miles Edgeworth. Sandwich redeemed. Not to mention Lana and Emma. Everyone involved in this case is connected to those killings. Meekins exist. Michael, shut. That's actually a god. That's a good meme. That's a really good meme. Awesome. Great meme, William. Fucking awesome. Everyone involved in this case is connected to those killings 2 years ago. DL6, it's all connected. This can't be just a coincidence. Knowing you, you just might be able to figure it out. Time to get back to the trial, Mr. Wright. Best of luck. I'd better take a good look at this file. To be continued. To be continued. Yes, save my progress. The court will now reconvene for the trial of Miss Lana Skye. Emma didn't come back. Allow me to call the next witness to the stand. Honestly, that's a good thing. I'm glad Emma didn't come back. The officer in charge of guarding the evidence room on the day of the crime. Hey, what's up? You think he's actually got alcohol in there? In that flask? I'm drinking on the job. I mean, in the guard station, there was literally bottles everywhere. So I wouldn't be surprised if that's actually alcohol. Witness, please state your name and occupation. Here we go. Fucking Wild West. Yeehaw! Me, partner? Oh, I'm just a man, same as you, wandering the trails of civilization. Occasionally helping the elderly cross intersections when needed. Yes, we get it. Oh, fucking darn, Edgeworth. Oh, I know, you're a patrolman. As for my name, if you listen hard enough, you can hear the howling wind calling it out. Fuck, I hate this guy. This guy annoys the shit out of me, man. To be exact, it's Jake Marshall, Your Honor. Howling wind. I've never heard Edgeworth described that way before. Taco with the Tims. Yeah, I see him in Shmeems. Brandon, did you post that meme because William's good meme had a bird in it? The crow of judgment. Now, Mr. Marshall, let me ask you something. You were in charge of guarding the evidence room on the day the crime took place. Is this correct? According to the papers, partner, hey, no weapons. What do you mean? A desperado's soul is as boundless as the desert sands. No paper can sum it up. Listen, this guy is the embodiment of just fucking listen here, matey. Maybe it's best we get on with this quickly. Please share with us your testimony of the day of the crime. In plain old English. My job was to keep a wary eye on that bone orchard. Fucking, I don't know how to say orchard. They said I was supposed to make rounds 3 times a day, but that ain't my style. Besides, the room's protected by 2 security systems anyways. If I remember right, I was at a street side saloon at the time I went down. I'm just an innocent traveling man, so if you're out of ammo, it's time to hit the trail. I can't say I particularly care for your attitude. Yeah, you just throw a listen here, matey, at him, and that's all you need to do. I can't say I care for your beard, but you don't see me complaining. Yo, you don't talk about the judge's beard like that. Wait a minute. What do you mean by 2 security systems? I mean the security cameras and the ID card reader. I reckon even a cowpoke like you knows about those. Yes, well, what about the fingerprint-activated locks on the evidence lockers? Fingerprint-activated locks? What kind of newfangled doohickeys are those? He's not being very helpful. He's not that good with machines. Or with following orders. Everyone's got their weaknesses now, don't they, Mr. Prosecutor? This one seems like trouble. Okay, Mr. Wright, he's all yours. If he dare insults Gumshoe, he'll feel dead in 24 hours tops. Fuck this guy, he did it? Well, I'm pretty sure he actually did do it, and we're literally about to prove this. My job was to keep a wary eye on that bone orchard. How exactly did you keep an eye on the evidence room? I just made sure nothing moved in the security camera monitor. That room's so still. Even time dies in there. I was just a caretaker who interred the recordings. You interred them? Videos of nothing aren't that useful. When the time would come, I'd erase the tape. If nothing unusual is recorded, tapes are to be erased every 6 hours. Each time I'd erase a tape, it felt like I was erasing a part of my life. This guy has a flair for the dramatic, but it isn't going to do him any good. 2 minutes tops. So in actuality, you don't physically enter the evidence room. But you made your rounds on the day of the crime, right? Ain't you heard a word I said, partner? I told you, that ain't my style. I'm afraid I don't understand. No desperado I know lets rules get in his way. No desperados I know join the police force. So, Officer Marshall, on the day of the crime, just between you and me, I didn't set foot in the evidence room that day. There was a rubber glove stuck in the victim's locker. Do you know anything about that? Sorry, partner, can't say I do. I haven't been in that crypt in weeks. How does this guy avoid being fired? You used to be a detective, so you've used the evidence room in the past, correct? Of course. Back in the day, my locker was a gold mine of evidence. And yet you didn't know about the fingerprint locking mechanism. Sorry, partner, I ain't good with machines. I couldn't even tell you how a bike works. That's quite incredible. The sensors on the locker handles cannot be seen. It's well known that some detectives are unaware of their presence. Now that he mentions it, Gumshoe said something like that too. At any rate, it doesn't seem like this is relevant to the crime. Can you tell us what you were doing when the crime took place? That's not just a rubber glove. What were you doing in a place like that? I was eating spaghetti. Man's got priorities. Not even Angel's steak lunches can beat that parlor's Vangoli sepia pasta. I probably am just insulted the Italians right there. Do you mean to tell us you abandoned your police duties to eat some noodles? Not all desperados eat tacos, partner. That's not what I meant. I hope this has at least taught you a lesson. Fire this man! This is strange. This is usually where Edgeworth says, did you not want to raise this here? I'm just an innocent traveling man. Michael, the Italians already have a bounty on you. Out of ammo, Officer Marshall. That's right, partner, or as you'd call it, evidence. If you plan to pin me to this crime, you'd better draw. Otherwise, you're just wasting my time. My steel horse is waiting to carry me back west into the sunset. One thing seems clear. Despite being responsible for guarding the evidence room, the witness doesn't appear to have seen anything. Texans don't take orders from anyone. Everyone knows that. Apparently your superiors don't. Okay, I have a trump card up my sleeve, so I best keep it cool. Before I use it, though, I'd better up the ante. So my trump card is the blood, because it's his fingerprints. I would like to actually check this. 4 pages on this. Victims. Neil Marshall. Yeah, so this is his brother. This is Jake Marshall's brother. He was killed. Trial data. Head prosecutor, witnesses, Lana Sky, Emma Sky. Executive investigators, head investigator. Bruce Goodman was there. Jake Marshall, Angel Star. Your trump card should be an Uno reverse card. Sir. They said I was supposed to make rounds 3 times a day. Let's see, so I have to, they say they have to up the ante, and they want me to do it before I put the fingerprints in there. You get sentenced to jail. Pull one of those bad boys out and send the judge to jail. Oh, a Uno reverse card. You see, this is the evidence room floor plans, right? Yeah, and all the blue is where we found blood. Or the jury. Yeah, that's true. The jury is what sentence you guilty or not guilty. It's the judge that just actually orders it. Or, I don't know, dictates it? I don't exactly know how to describe it. My room is covered in blood. It would literally look like a crime scene, but I'm just a dumbass. The jury that say you did it, or the judge gives you your sentence. Maybe. He said up the ante, so it makes me think that I don't present this yet. I'll just fucking do it. I don't know. Apparently upping the ante is just playing my hand immediately. Officer Marshall, doesn't it strike you as odd? That is, you being called in to testify like this. After all, you weren't in the security room at the time of the crime. The music stopped. Yeah, that means I'm correct. And yet you dragged me down here. Explain yourself, partner. It's quite simple. Yeah. Explain yourself, partner. Head nod. You left a very large trail behind at the scene. Or to be exact, a handprint. Listen real good, partner. Like I said, I'm the caretaker of that crypt. I pay my respects. That is, make my rounds about once a month. It's only natural my fingerprints would be in there. I only wish it were, officer. But you see, your fingerprints were covered in blood. Witness, what's the meaning of this? Your blood-stained fingerprints were at the crime scene. The blood was wiped away, however. A luminol test clearly revealed this. Well, Officer Marshall. It seems to me there ain't a person in this room with a head on his shoulders. I take it you have an explanation then, Officer Marshall. About the blood-stained fingerprints? No ads, no. Very well, you may begin your testimony about your fingerprints, found at the scene of the crime. The thing is I didn't even tell him where they were found. I just said we found your fingerprints. Like I said, it's only natural for my fingerprints to be in that evidence room. One of them just happened to be at the same place as the bloodstained handprint. The murderer touched the locker where my fingerprint was by chance. The bloodstain and the fingerprint are completely unrelated. Or didn't you know the murderer was wearing gloves? See, I had nothing to do with it. The witness's explanation appears valid, although there's room for doubt. Life wouldn't be fun without any doubt. I don't, you know, the thing is, that would be one hell of a coincidence. That my handprint is here, and then the murderer just happened to put their hand there, like, that'd be one hell of a coincidence. Life wouldn't be fun without any doubt, partner. We, the jury, in the case of Florida versus Brandon, find the defendant guilty of the charge of loitering. The defense may now cross-examine the witness. This guy's hiding something. I can feel it. Now's my chance to prove it. So I'm actually going to play the video real quick, because there's something I want to see. No, I cannot fast forward it, so we're just going to watch this entire thing. I want to see his hands. He doesn't have gloves on. Bruce Goodman doesn't have gloves on. And also it would be, it's either, let's see, let me, there's something else I want to see as well. So right hand open the locker. Here comes fucking Meekins. Starts to attack. Let's see. I wanted to see if he grabbed his shoulder or not, because he had that big blood stain on his shoulder, if you saw that. The only thing is that if he just stabbed Meekins, whose hand is now bleeding, and then he ended up touching this locker, because now there's a cloth here. And I'm pretty sure, if I'm remembering correctly, we tell him so that's Jake Marshall's locker. What he stuffed in there was the jacket he was wearing, because it was covered in blood, and he wouldn't want to just walk around with that in there, and so he needed a place to hide it. I am just by looking at this, I do think this. Oh man, is it his left hand? This has to be a thumb, right? Meekins should be silenced forever. Meekins is peak humans. That's his left. Yeah, that looks too much like a thumb to not be his left hand. There is no way his pinky is that stub. Stubby. One of them just happened to be at the same place as the bloodstained handprint. Dude, that's way too coincidental. Did I press everything on him yet? That's because, how did you put it, pay your respects once a month. Yeah, that's right, that and one more thing. That locker happens to be mine. What do you mean? I mean what I said. That's the locker I used when I was a detective, the locker I still use. All that's in there now, though, is a heap of broken dreams. I see. It'd be strange if my prints weren't all over that locker. Apparently his fingerprint data was never removed from that locker's programming. He must have been using the fingerprint lock all this time without even knowing it. One of them just happened to be at the same place as the bloodstained handprint. So, all right. Well, I mean, he just confirmed it's his locker now. He opened the locker. So then what about the bloody handprint? Wasn't mine, it's no mystery. Please explain. My locker is covered with my handprints. It's just so happened. Merc touched my locker. The chances of that happening are 1,000,000 to 1. On the contrary, one could argue that's just the opposite. The chances of that not happening are 1,000,000 to 1. Get one thing straight, partner. You ain't gonna get no reward for me with a mere fingerprint. You wanna know why? Unrelated. They're as different as night and day, kind of like cereal and cereal. One's got to do with breakfast, while the other's a type of murder. Well, not exactly. Like, there's serial numbers, you know. Serial number doesn't have anything to do with murder. So, you know. I'm a cereal. That's going in the quote space. I'm typing that in right now. He's right. Although seemingly alike, they're totally different. I don't see what hominins have to do with this. Homonyms. Yeah, I'm not assuming I said that right. Homophone. A homophone, right? Or didn't you know the murderer was wearing gloves? How do you know that? I may be a loner, but I still do my job. I keep up on the reports. There was a blood stain at the scene, thought to be left by the murderer. That's right. It was found on Detective Gumshoe's locker. However, no fingerprints were detected on that handprint. Oh yeah, I think we tried that too. So that would mean the murderer wearing gloves happened to place their hand on top of Officer Marshall's fingerprint. That's the only logical conclusion. Are you starting to get the picture, partner? The picture? This seal of blood in the desert. It's just food for the buzzards. There's only one reality, and that's this. The security tape. We're about to watch it again! So long as my trail isn't in there, you can't say otherwise. This isn't getting us anywhere. Please consider carefully where you're going with this cross-examination. Now then, continue your testimony. Do I just show this? No? Alright. What do you mean by that? You want to tie me into this crime, isn't that right, partner? If so, that video is the only direct evidence you have. But that video is next to useless. It's full of blind spots, places you can't see. The camera's panning back and forth, the floor isn't shown. If someone was familiar with the camera's position, they could leave the room without being caught on tape. We don't have time for your speculations, Mr. Wright. Well, Mr. Wright, if you can show us evidence in this video that indicates Officer Marshall was present, please do so now. So I just had to press it. Okay, fine. I just lost a strike because I objected at the wrong time. Tread carefully, Mr. Wright, or you might wind up being the one making the mistake. Now then, let's have another look at the video. Show us this incriminating evidence. Oh, now I actually have strikes on the line. I'm assuming I'm gonna be pointing at this locker over here. Because as you can see, no cloth. But now he's disappeared. Cloth. Bringing our attention back to the security camera is a mistake I'm afraid you'll soon not forget, Officer Marshall. The days are short in Texas, and so are our tempers. Could you sum up what you have to say in 8 words or less? Very well. All right, that's 2 words. Your dick is as small as a speculation, Edgeworth. You can clearly be seen in this. You can clearly be seen in this video. Well, fair enough. Exactly 8 words. Not bad, partner. The key lies in a certain locker shown in the video. That locker with the white claw sticking out. That was the witnesses, I believe. Now then, let's rewind the video a bit. Look at Meekins! Hey, yo, buddy, what's going on? The fucking blue badger. Oh, the white cloth, it's gone. What's the meaning of this, Officer Marshall? When the crime took place, the white cloth wasn't there. Then it suddenly appeared. There's only one explanation. Officer Marshall, you were in the evidence room at the time of the crime. What's more, you opened your locker when the camera was turned away. Order, order. It would only seem— Hold your horses. Sorry, partner, but you got the wrong man. So what if my locker was open? That doesn't mean I'm the one who opened it. The murderer needed to hide something, so he opened a locker and stuck it in. It's not my fault he happened to choose mine. Why is everyone staring at me like I'm a wanted man? This guy isn't just playing dumb. He really doesn't know. I hate to rain on your parade, but you're the only person who can open that particular locker. Oh yeah? I call your bluff. You say I open that locker. Now prove it. I'm assuming I do this. Only the assigned detective's prints can unlock it. Even Edgeworth is like, he's fucking guilty. A fingerprint sensor. We talked about this earlier today. The lockers can only be opened by the detectives they belong to. What kind of crazy talk is this? Well, Detective Gumshoe didn't mention something about this. In any case, the locks aren't that obvious. There are even some people on the force that don't know about the fingerprint locks. So, Sheriff, what do you have to say? In 8 words or less. What are you eating there? The beef jerky? I only got 1 word for you, partner. Die! He just shoots me. Fuck. Check out my quick draw. Done. Order, order, order. Witness, explain yourself. If this is a joke, it's the worst I've ever heard. I assure you this is no joke, Officer Marshall. Fuck! English! Now then, please tell us what you were doing in the evidence room at the time of the crime. Why did the judge say, "Ole"? What the fuck? Please answer the question. I am not guilty. Yo mama is guilty. What is he now, a bullfighter? That's all right, Officer Marshall. I believe we can figure the rest out from here. We can? Have a look at these floor plans. The judge is now racist. There is no place for someone to hide in the evidence room. Yet Officer Meekins didn't see Officer Marshall. If that's so, then where was the witness? It seems Mr. Wright has an answer. That's right, the only possible conclusion. Well then, let's hear it. Where was Officer Marshall at the time of the crime? Fuck if I know. He's probably this guy. Officer Marshall is standing right here. There, but that's where the victim, Detective Goodman, was. Correct, unless the man wasn't Detective Goodman. Ole. I believe the victim in the video is Officer Marshall. It was you dressed up like Detective Goodman. But that's preposterous. Officer Meekins witnessed the detective at the crime scene. Once he saw the man's face, he'd know for sure. May I point out, though, that Officer Meekins did not know Detective Goodman. He also testified about the man's reaction when confronted. When I entered the evidence room, I asked him to show his card. If you play your megaphone in a flashback, I am going to lose my mind, Meekins. Yes? And how did Detective Goodman respond? Fuck you! He suddenly pulled a knife on me. Something about the officer's story puzzled me. If the man had his ID card, why didn't he just show it? Meekins is a peak human. Yes, he would have needed it to enter the evidence room, so he must have been carrying it. The answer is simple. He couldn't show it. As you can see, Detective Goodman's picture is on his ID card. Oh, I get it. If he showed that, his cover would have been blown. Officer Meekins would have realized the man wasn't Detective Goodman. Do you have anything to say to this, Officer Marshall? You've got quite an imagination, partner. We got a term for that. It's called circumstantial evidence. Circumstantial evidence? He's still denying it. You're gonna have to do better than that to break a detective, unless you have hard evidence proving I dressed up as the victim. I can't say I particularly care for your uncooperative disposition. I can't say I care for your beard, but you don't seem me complaining. Fucking listen here, matey. Well, Mr. Wright, do you have any evidence proving beyond a shadow of a doubt that Officer Marshall dressed up as the victim? Well, who am I kidding? I don't have anything like that. I can see the fear in your eyes, partner. Well, there would be one thing. Just have him go open his locker. If the locker has Goodman's jacket on it, that is got blood stains on it, it was him. I can see the fear in your eyes, partner. Seems you're the one who couldn't take the desert heat. Ack, this can't be happening. Dude, this guy's from Texas, and he keeps talking about the desert heat and all. I mean, Texas is hot, yes. But it's more humid. It's like, like Texas is very humid. Fuck you, baby. It's so obvious he's the one. What can I do? All right, Edgeworth. It looks like your lack of experience has finally been exposed. I'll pass on to you what someone told me when I was just starting out. When you've run into a wall with no place to go, return to the basics. The basics. For me, that would be what Mia used to tell me. Phoenix, try thinking outside the box. I shouldn't look for proof that Officer Marshall was in disguise, but rather I should look for evidence that came about because he was in disguise. Why do you think this locker was open in the first place? What do you mean? There's no reason for Officer Marshall to open his locker at the time of the crime. Yeah, he did, despite the chance it might be discovered later as it has been. Which means he didn't originally plan to open his locker. According to the defense's argument, Officer Jake Marshall dressed up as Detective Goodman at the time of the crime. Then, after the crime was committed, he opened his own locker for some unknown reason. The fact that a white cloth is sticking out of the locker seems to indicate that. He opened it in order to put the cloth inside. So, just what exactly is this piece of cloth? Perhaps the video is the key to all our unanswered questions. I don't have any evidence, so this video is my only shot. We're about to fucking watch the video again. Very well, let's take yet another look at the security tape. After committing the crime, the witness opened the locker to put away the white cloth. I'm gonna save the game real quick. Please show us why the witness... Okay, I didn't want to read that anyways. I am assuming I'm gonna show the blood stain. Because he obviously has no blood stain on his shoulder now. But when he starts hi-ya karate chopping his way with Officer Meekins, he's got a blood stain right here. For some reason, you disguised yourselves as Detective Goodman and entered the evidence room, but I don't know what to end yet. To what end yet. However, something unexpected happened. Officer Meekins barged in on you. When asked to show your ID card, you pulled a knife on him. However, Officer Meekins panicked. And the white coat you were wearing was soiled with blood. A bloody white coat. You couldn't just walk out like that, so you hid the coat in your locker. Not bad, partner. Now then, Officer Marshall, are you ready to tell us the truth? Looks like I underestimated y'all. I hope you're happy now, Edgeworth. 2 years ago, if you were only half as persistent then as you are today, we all wouldn't have to be here now, as we were. Officer Marshall, tell the court what you did. All of it. All right. It seems the time has come. Don't worry, though, because I guarantee you, this guy will still have his job. We're going to be like, well, we know you lied in court. You attacked a man. You're tampering with evidence. You stole an ID card. But go back to work. I had to do it. That day, I couldn't just stand by and let it die. I stole the detective's ID and dressed like him. I planned to take out the evidence. I wasn't expecting Officer Meekins. I knocked him out and managed to escape. I knew which areas want to be caught on the camera. There wasn't any murder in the evidence room at 5:15. So the supposed victim was really you. But there's only one thing I still don't understand. Traces of a large quantity of blood were found on the floor of the evidence room. If no one was murdered, then how could that be? Officer Meekins managed to cut his own hand. My guess is he's the donor. It was way too much blood for such a small donation. Okay, now what the hell am I doing here? Good quote. When you say it, you mean, do you even have to ask, partner? The SL9 incident. 2 years have passed since that case was closed. It was going to completely end with the transferal that day. Not if I have anything to do with it. Okay. But what did you hope to accomplish by sneaking into the evidence room? When a case is closed, only that case's lead detective can look through the evidence. I wanted to have a look at it myself one more time, no matter what the cost. I don't care what anyone says, partner. That case is mine. But Officer Marshall wasn't in charge of that investigation. Why does he care so much about it? That day was my last chance. That's why I... Why did you disguise yourself as Detective Goodman? If I didn't make it look like Goodman was carrying out the evidence transferal, I'd be arrested for stealing evidence, which wouldn't get me anywhere. So you did it to fool the security camera and the detective's ID card. I stole that the morning of the incident. So that really was why Goodman started filling out that lost item report. I returned his ID card. I left it on the floor in the prosecutor's office parking lot. The ID card I found was left there by Officer Marshall. So essentially, you managed to succeed despite your lack of foresight. What do you mean, partner? I mean the fingerprint-activated lock, of course. No matter how well you describe yourself, you can't change your fingerprints. Under normal circumstances, you wouldn't have been able to open that lock for yourself. But he could, because a rubber glove just happened to get stuck in the door. That means Detective Goodman must have opened the locker before Officer Marshall. So what you did was illegal. Well, fuck you. You're getting arrested. You pulled a knife on Officer Meekins and tried to drive him off. Let's just say I was a little surprised. I only planned on being in the evidence room for no more than 5 minutes. I didn't think anyone would actually come in during that short time. Officer Meekins certainly is a 1 in a million type of person. Mistaking a detective for an intruder and demanding to be shown his ID. I'll have to think a little more about his raise this year. When did Edgeworth get so much influence? Anyway, he threw himself at me, and I ended up cutting him slightly. I'm sorry it had to turn out this way, with me knocking him out and everything. By the way, what happened to your knife? Oh, you mean this one? I don't know what to say. So you knocked Officer Meekins out and... So you did your research beforehand. Those who go into the desert unprepared don't live long, partner. I didn't think it would make a difference, though. The security tape is erased every 6 hours. If all had gone as planned, no photo would have been left. However, you bloodied your coat and your struggle with Officer Meekins. If someone was in the security room when I came out, the chick would have been up. I opened my locker and stashed it in there. What was Officer Meekins doing during that time? What else? He was sleeping like a baby. So what you're saying is on that day... But the blood found at the scene certainly indicates a crime took place. What, are you blind? The victim shown on the tape is me, and I'm not dead yet, partner. So you stole the evidence from the locker. Actually, no I didn't. Why not? When I opened the locker, the evidence was already gone. What? Mr. Edgeworth, where's that evidence? It's still missing, Your Honor. Ooh. Detective Goodman's locker was already empty. Someone else stole the evidence. It probably was Detective Goodman. Officer Marshall, may I ask you one thing? Far away, partner. It's a free country. Just remember, I'm also free to decide whether or not to answer. Why did you do this? Stealing a detective's ID, injuring a police officer. This is no small offense. Moreover, you're an officer yourself. This will have serious consequences. It can't just be forgiven with a simple cut in salary. Not that salary cuts are ever a valid solution. Like I said, this isn't your case. This one is mine. And I'll do anything it takes to get an answer I'm satisfied with. The witness has an unusual amount of zeal. Let's hear more. I can't just forget the SL9 incident. You know why? It's because his brother died in the incident. But the case was solved 2 years ago, wasn't it? That's the reason the evidence was stored in the evidence room. Joe Dark was convicted for his crimes. One thing I can say for sure is he deserved his sentence. I remember the Joe Dark case. It involved serial murders, didn't it? I don't intend to complain about how it turned out, but there's something that still bothers me. Something went down at that trial, something no one will talk about. What happened? I don't know, that's what I'm trying to figure out. Why is he so concerned with that incident? Maybe I should present him with what I think his real reason is. I had a feeling we'd wind up here sooner or later. Everyone involved here is related in some way to that case. I'd better take another look at the files. Let me see what page it's on. It's on page 2, because his brother died. Officer Marshall, I think I understand. I think I know why you care so much about the SL9 incident. Sounds like you've been sipping too much cactus juice, partner. Cactus juice, my favorite. I have the SL9 incident file here. The name Marshall is mentioned in here. And a list of murder victims. Neil Marshall. Are you related to this man? Neil Marshall. Yeah, I'm sure you've heard the name. 2 years ago, he received the same lousy prosecutor award you got. What? A prosecutor? He must be talking about the King of Prosecutors Award. Now I remember. Prosecutor Neil Marshall. He handled the SL9 case before I did. Also, if I'm remembering correctly, I'm going to go to this here. So we think Neil Marshall was killed by Joe Dark. But I'm fairly positive Neil Marshall was actually killed by Emma. Because I want to see that picture again. Because in that picture, in the background, there's like a statue with a big sword on it. Neil Marshall was doing something to Emma. Emma pushed him. He fell backwards, landed on that sword on the statue, and died. So I'm pretty sure that's what happened. If I'm remembering correctly, I could be wrong. He handled the SL9 case before I did. That's right. He was killed, and the case fell into your... Oh, man, I really wanted to read that. But what's his relation to you? He was my brother. Rest in peace. Effin' chat. Take the hat off. Moment of silence. He was investigating the murders with Damon Gant, the then Deputy Chief of Police. Little bro is getting touchy with Emu. Ah, yes, there he is, in the corner. The group of detectives I was part of worked under them. We were desperate to prosecute the killer. Joe Dark. My brother fought Dark and was killed. That was the first time Dark left behind any evidence. That was all we needed. He was, fucking whatever that word is, arraigned and incarcerated. The case was finally closed, at least according to the public records. What do you mean? My brother couldn't have been killed by Joe Dark. I knew my brother better than anyone. No one could have beaten him in a fight. And that's it. That's your reason for your insane actions? There's more to my brother's death than what the records say. No matter how much you try to hide it, you can't fool me. I did not mean to open that. That looks like Gant a bit. Joe Dark? He's kind of... I don't know, brother. So was his brother trying to do something to Emu? I don't remember. We're just going to have to get there. But I'm pretty sure they have the same eyes. Did they? I don't know. I have to see a picture again. This fucking blackened face isn't helping me much. But I'm pretty sure like this kind of confirms it, because he's saying that, you know, he doesn't believe his brother could have been murdered. Like, it doesn't make sense. And we'll figure out that it was actually Emma who killed his brother. And the reason that so many people don't like the SL9 case is because we'll also figure out that Lana Skye, in order to protect her sister, forged evidence. So, well, at least one thing's for certain. Now we know what happened at the police department on the day of the crime. That was the last day the SL9 case could be reopened. Not satisfied with his resolution, Officer Marshall planned to steal the evidence. Disguising himself as Detective Goodman, he entered the evidence room. Officer Meekins confronted him, so he rendered him unconscious and fled. Yes, this mystery has finally been cleared up. No murder took place. No murder took place at the police department that day. Exclamation mark. The things that happen by chance never cease to amaze. At exactly the same time as the murder at the prosecutor's office, this fake murder was going on at the police department. Chance. It's got to be more than just that. So if no one was murdered at the police department on the day of the crime, that means the murder in the prosecutor's office parking lot was the real one, which in turn means only one person could have committed the crime. Chief Prosecutor Lana Skye. But wait, a verdict wasn't reached in yesterday's trial. Which is why we examined the incident at the police department today. But there's only one reason the defendant was not convicted yesterday. There yet remained the mystery of the simultaneous murder at the police department. It seems to me this boy's got the draw on you, partner. All of the mysteries at the police department have been resolved, no doubt about it. Our sole murder took place at the prosecutor's office. The only suspect is Lana Skye. And the testimony is of one Miss Angel Star is completely uncontestable, even though she lied. If you have a response, make it a single word or less. That... Arg! I don't know if that's technically a word, but... Objection can be a word. I rest my case. It seems this trial has reached its conclusion. There's no room for doubt. Well done, Mr. Wright. Thanks to you, I didn't need to waste my time. Disproving the alleged murder at the police department. There's no doubt what I proved today is true. The apparent murder on the security camera's tape really was fake. But I didn't realize that would end up proving Lana guilty. Now then, the time for the verdict has arrived. This defendant finds the defendant... Hold it. What's up? How are you doing? Your Honor? Wait. Emma, the defense has an objection. A scientific objection. Right? What do you mean, right? Mr. Wright, are you this girl's guardian? Your Honor? Oh, in a sense. Please, Your Honor, all I'm asking is for a minute of your time. Please hear me out. Mr. Edgeworth, please. I don't want to leave any loose ends. You want a minute? I'll give you 3. What a nice guy. You know what Manfred von Karma would have done? He'd been like, you want a minute? I'll give you 5 seconds. I was kind of in shock. I mean, finding out the SL9 incident referring to the Joe Dart killings. Now that she mentions it, the names of both Skye sisters were in that file. But that's when I figured it out. I mean, what our Officer Marshall was trying to do that day. So I knew his fingerprint had nothing to do with the crime. That left only one thing, the other handprint. You mean the traces of blood found on Detective Gumshoe's locker. But no fingerprints were found on it, right? No, but I figured if I examined it scientifically, I'd be sure to find a clue. So I ran over there and looked at it again. So did you find something? No. Huh? Sorry, I guess I'm not much of a scientific investigator after all. Is that all? Please don't be mad, I'm just a high school student. And I'm just an attorney. But Mr. Wright, those traces of blood are the only clue we have. If we can't find something wrong with them, please, Mr. Wright, you're a professional. If anyone can save Lana, it's you. Me. Oh boy. Time's up. Now then, Mr. Wright, with regard to the incident at the police department, does any reasonable doubt remain? It appears the defense is troubled by the other blood mark. I like how he didn't think to test what the blood was. Anywhere. For whatever reason. This is the police department. We could have done this very fast. Looking at the floor plans, a handprint was discovered around here. Is there a problem with this? Mr. Wright, I'm sorry I can't be more of use. But still, if you can't find anything wrong with that blood mark. Let me see. Real quick. You know, the fact that the blue badger is right there, I kind of do have a problem with it, to be honest. Like, who placed that there? I keep dropping my pen because I'm fidgeting with it. Please answer my question, Mr. Wright. We don't have all day. Yes, Your Honor. If ever I've needed to concentrate, it's now. What could be wrong with that handprint on Detective Gumshoe's locker? Could there be something I'm missing? This handprint left at the crime scene clearly shows a contradiction. The only thing that seems clear is your grasping, Mr. Wright. You've been staring pretty intently at those floor plans. Tell me, is there a problem with them? Yes, this is strange. Take a good look at these floor plans. Something is missing. Missing? You mean something hasn't been drawn on there? Yes, something that, when drawn, will completely change the meaning of the blood mark. Let us pray the defense isn't simply trying to buy time. Very well, Mr. Wright. With all this evidence here, there's got to be something I can use. The question is, which item can prove something is missing in the floor plans? The Blue Badger! What about that piece of plywood? The Blue Badger, mascot of the police force, defender of truth, guardian of proof. Explain yourself, Mr. Wright. Please look at the floor plans of the crime scene. The Blue Badger is not here. So watch what happens when we put him in. This is where he was dancing at the time of the crime. With how wide this is, this makes the Blue Badger look fucking massive, by the way. Well, what? Gasp. That's right. So long as the Blue Badger is dancing here, it would be impossible to place a handprint at this spot on the locker. I like how his fucking, oh, what is it? What is he wearing? Like a poncho or something? It just fucking, oh, just wide badger. So that means, just exactly what does that mean? It means it can't be done. What are you saying? Blood traces were undeniably found on that locker. Don't look at me. I didn't put them there. Mr. Wright, think it through scientifically. Emma, on that afternoon, Officer Meekins was the one who brought the Blue Badger to the evidence room, right? And he was also the one who put it on the in the front. After he put it down, it would be impossible to leave a handprint on that locker. So that must mean this blood mark was left there before the Blue Badger was brought in. Just one moment. I will not allow such far-fetched balderdash in my courtroom. Okay, fucking listen here, matey. The word balderdash? What the fuck does that mean? Hold on. Balderdash. No, not Baldur's Gate 3, balderdash. Senseless talk or writing. Nonsense. I will not allow such far-fetched balderdash. Emma is just back in the defense area? Yeah, she's just standing there now. It may sound far-fetched, Your Honor, but it's the only possible explanation. On February 21st, in the police department's evidence room. Well, let's see. Let me look at this real quick. So that means it was either Miles Edgeworth or whoever 77777 is put it there. And if I'm remembering correctly, this is Damon Gant. This is the police chief who put that there. Blood was spilled not once but twice. But how? One time was captured on this tape taken by the security camera. Officer Meekins cut his hand from which a trivial amount of blood fell. The problem is the other time. So our evidence is balderdash, but anyone else with the words most false evidence is considered not viable. Yeah. Someone bled prior to the struggle shown on this tape. It had to have been. It had to have been Detective Goodman when he was really murdered. That's ridiculous. I refuse to accept your absurd claim. The murder portrayed in the security tape has been proven to be a fake. However, that does not explain the blood mark found in the locker. And also, why the fuck was the blood not tested? Whose blood is this? We're at the police department. We just left the mark there. We're not touching it. So then, assuming this murder you purport really happened, when did this take place? I demand you show evidence that proves when it occurred. When did the first incident occur? To summarize, the defense claims that prior to Officer Meekins being cut by Jake Marshall, who is posing as Detective Goodman, another incident took place in that evidence room. That's right, the blood mark on the locker proves this. Very well. Then tell us, when did this first incident occur? As Mr. Edgeworth said, proof must be presented. Proof that shows when the murder took place. There's only one piece of evidence that can show that. Now then, will the defense please present its evidence? What shows when the first crime took place? When the first crime took place. Let me see. 1712. So that's 512. Let me find this. He was there at 4:40, and it takes about 30 minutes to get from the police department to the prosecutor's office. So that makes sense. But what shows? It has to be the time thing, right? There's only one thing with times on it. It has to be this. If the crime took place inside the evidence room, then the killer would have had to enter it. And in order to do so, okay, that was actually my bad. Sometimes I swear this game is skipping dialogue. That time it was my fault. That was actually me who skipped dialogue. An ID card. Oh, the ID card record. Officer Meekins brought the Blue Badger panel into the evidence room at, let's see here, 4:50 p.m. If the crime took place before that time, then it would be 4:40 p.m. or 4:20. Apparently we're not gonna encounter the 4:20. Miles Edgeworth, just what have you done? I never would have figured you'd have the nerve, boy. Drop the act, witness. It doesn't take a lot of thought to figure out it couldn't have been me. Nope, I ain't getting it. I'm afraid I don't understand either. Does this have a time on it? No? Because he was awarded this trophy. So he was at the trophy thing, right? Is that what he's gonna say? It's clear from the luminol test that the blood was there. However, when the second crime took place, both Officer Meekins and Officer Marshall failed to notice the blood. That means the blood from the first crime was wiped away by the real murderer. I would have had just 10 minutes to murder the victim, carry his body away, and clean up the blood. Unfortunately, that's physically impossible. How does someone stutter that much? I don't know. I stutter all the time. But not that much. That would mean the crime must have taken place before Mr. Edgeworth entered the evidence room. Let's look at the chart again. There's only one other card number remaining. A bunch of sevens. Talk about a lucky number. But wait, that doesn't make sense. How could Detective Goodman have entered the evidence room? Since there's no record of this card being used beforehand, he must have entered along with the real murderer. That's the only plausible explanation. He went in with 777777777777777. Mr. Edgeworth, please look into this ASAP. Find out whose ID number is 777777777777777. That's 17 too many, Your Honor. Unfortunately, I'm unable to look up the owner of that ID card, at least at present. What? Explain yourself, son. The ID number 777777777 belongs to someone with the rank of captain or higher, someone who is a so-called executive officer. We don't have the authority to inquire into such a person's identity. Well, that's ridiculous. Just how? I'm not finished talking, Mr. Wright. There is one situation in which we can be granted such authority. If an official charge filed against an executive is accepted. An official charge. You're all alike, aren't you? With your cover-ups and your forgeries, that's how the prosecutor's office operates. I take pride in my work, Officer Marshall. I would appreciate it if you would keep your slander to yourself. Slander, is it? Okay, let me ask a question. Yes? No, not to you. To her, the defendant sitting over there. Your own little executive. Anna. Don't be stupid, she's been charged with murder. Of course, we've looked up her ID number, and it's not 77777777777. Don't play me for a fool, partner. That's not what I meant to ask. All I want to know is one thing about that incident. SL9 incident? Answer me this, Chief Prosecutor. In that trial 2 years ago, did you really only use legitimate evidence? Why are you here now? Hello. Do you need the witness to repeat his question, Chief Prosecutor? I heard him fine, Mr. Edgeworth. 2 years ago, I was in charge of the prosecution for that trial. At the time, we felt the powerlessness of the law. At least, I did. Lana, I became a prosecutor in order to suppress crime with the law. But before I realized it, we were the ones being suppressed by the law. Defendant, just what are you saying? I'll ask you again, Chief Prosecutor. All right, two people can't stand here at the same time, apparently. During that trial 2 years ago, did you really present all the evidence in court? Can you look me, an investigator in that crime, in the eye and say that you did? Chief Prosecutor, you didn't. I don't have to, Officer Marshall. Why won't you answer him? Drastic crimes require drastic measures. That's just the way it is. We did what we had to in order to get him, for him to get the verdict he deserved. But Lana, even if it involved forging evidence. And here's another hint that gives us that they forged evidence. See, that's what I'm talking about. So we've had Jake Marshall talk about my brother couldn't lose a fight. He doesn't believe that Joe Dark was the one who murdered him. We've just learned that they forged evidence in the SL9 case. I'm still calling that it was Emma who killed Neil Marshall. And Lana forged evidence to make it seem like Joe Dark killed him to protect Emma. See, that's what I'm talking about. No. No. Order, 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 order. Lana's remarks caused such a stir. The chaos said, okay, would have to wait until the following day. That wasn't me. That one was not me. The game just fucking said, screw you. You're not reading that. Let's see. I want to see what this clip is. Somebody put a clip in chat. Let me see what this is. When I entered the evidence room, I asked him to show his card. If you play your megaphone in a flashback, I am going to lose my mind, Meekins. Yes? And how did Detective Goodman respond? Fuck! When I entered the evidence room, I... That's pretty funny. Good clip. Good clip. Good clip. All right, let me just make sure my thing actually saved. All right. I'm so sorry, Mr. Wright. I'm sorry for what my sister said. And real quick, I'm gonna text my dad real quick. I'm gonna see if he wants to eat lunch. I mean, lunch is in an hour, but might as well plan. Let me see. Will you be able to eat lunch today? Not tomorrow, today. Let's see what he says. Drastic crime requires drastic measures. That's just the way it is. We did what we had to in order for him to get the verdict he deserved. More investigating? Yay! I didn't know. I never knew that the SL9 incident was just another name for the Joe Dark killings. Sounds like everyone's heard about these killings but me. Lana wanted Dark convicted so badly. That's why she used me. That's why she used what happened to me. What do you mean what happened to you? It's all there in the file. Joe Dark's last victim was Prosecutor Neil Marshall. When he murdered Officer Marshall, when he murdered Officer Marshall's brother, he left behind an incriminating piece of evidence. But what did you have to do with those killings, Emma? On the night Prosecutor Neil Marshall was murdered, Joe Dark tried to kill me. What? He tried to kill you? Officer Marshall's brother Neil was only trying to save me. I love murdering. So that means you? Yes. I was a witness in the Joe Dark trial. I didn't see that one coming. It happened 2 years ago. It was right about this time of the year, too. There was a terrible thunderstorm that day, unusual for the season. I was alone in my sister's office. We were planning to eat dinner together when she finished her work. Then suddenly, this terrifying man came bursting into the office. And you've got a good point. He does has the same eyes as this guy. Only in this picture, his eyes are closed. Joe Dark. It seemed like he was running from someone. He pulled out a knife and screamed at me. I didn't know what was going on. Just then, Prosecutor Marshall showed up. Jake Marshall's brother. Joe Dark tried to take me hostage. But that's the only resemblance I can see. Yeah, they're not the same person. I mean, he was executed. He was literally executed. So, it even says deceased. But before he could, Mr. Marshall tackled him. Then what happened? I'll never forget it. Lightning struck, and the lights went out. Suddenly, a bolt of lightning flashed outside the window, lighting up the office for an instant. What I saw then burned a permanent picture in my mind. I can still see it now. A permanent picture. I don't remember the moment when Dark stabbed Mr. Marshall, so you weren't able to testify about that. No, I was only asked about when I was attacked. That must be why Lana... Why she made up the crime. Made it up? You mean provided bogus evidence? The prosecutor's office wanted that guilty verdict so badly. Lana forged the evidence and Mr. Edgeworth used it. Edgeworth? Yes. But I'm sure he didn't know anything about it. He couldn't have known he was being given false evidence. Even so, that's when it all started. The rumors about Mr. Edgeworth. I mean, it's all my fault. If I could have just testified properly, none of this would have ever happened. I mean, 2 years ago, Emma was, what, 14 or something? She's just a kid. 10,000 sandwiches? Let's go, Brandon. I should add more things to the points, to the sandwiches. The sandwich shop. I should add more points, like more things to that. You guys have to give me ideas. What do I even have there now? Let me see. So I have message fetch, identify an email, on-screen celebration, sandwich, highlight message, send a message in sub-only mode, hydrate, posture check, stretch, Geiger counter, suggest a poll, time out somebody else, quest time, VIP. We farming boys. A million sandwich idea. If you've told me a million sandwich idea, I've already forgotten, so you're gonna have to tell it to me again. Make me do 10 push-ups? Sure, we could do that. I don't mind doing that. You know what? I'll make it right now. Just for you guys. Let me go to power-ups and channel points. Manage channel points. Or add new custom. I'll call it muscles. Muscles. Make me do 10 push-ups. How many did you say for? 1,000? Is that what you wanted? I'll make it 2,000. My fucking screen changed for some reason. I don't know why, but you didn't miss anything. I really need what is it called? Yeah, the Stream Deck. I should really buy one of these. How much are these? How much money is it for me to buy this? Oh, it's only 60 bucks. The mini one is only 60 bucks? Bruh, dude, fuck, I just need that. Alright. For what? Oh, to buy a Stream Deck. Stream Decks are useful. And an Elgato Stream Deck. Because like all of my hotkeys are on just my numpad. And so it's like super inconvenient whenever I use my numpad, because I use my numpad for literally everything. So a Stream Deck would be very helpful. I might get the bigger one. It's $150. How much is the extra large? The extra large is $200. I don't really need that. Well, it's actually $250, but it's on sale right now for $200. But I just don't need one that big. Anyways, I gotta look at this later. What the fuck just happened? That was me changing my scenes. That's what just happened. So it's true, even though he may not have known it. Edgeworth really was involved in falsifying evidence. After that case ended, Lana was never the same. She became cold, like she is today. She must have not been able to face up to what she did, especially not to Emma. What did you see in the instant that crime occurred? Dark knocked down Mr. Marshall and raised his knife. Neil Marshall was stabbed right in front of this poor girl. I don't remember what happened after that. Apparently I passed out. When I came to, Lana was cradling me in her arms. Poor Emma, you've been through so much. I couldn't bring myself to testify about that instant. I tried, but the words just wouldn't come out. I drew a picture, but it wasn't any good. 2 years ago, you must have been 14. That's understandable. Wasn't she like 14? Yes. Yes, she was. Once it was all over, I made up my mind. I decided that when I grew up, I'd become a scientific investigator. I want to be able to fight crime with my testimonies and find the evidence to make an airtight case. That way, Lana would never have to forge any. I see. I think I'm finally starting to understand what makes Emma tick. But there's still something that bothers me about that crime. There's something that's puzzling me, Emma. What is it? You said you were in Lana's office at that time, right? That's right. Why then would a serial killer come running in there? Not only that, but he's being chased by a prosecutor. Oh, there's no mystery there. Emma, who is literally Maya, just copy-paste. Well, I think Maya was more useful than Emma, I'm gonna be honest. Joe Dark had been taken in for questioning that day. Taken in for questioning? You mean by the police? Of course. This happened at the police department. He tried to run away halfway through the interview and fled into my sister's office. But why did he run all the way over to your sister's office? Because the detective offices in the questioning room are right across from the elevator. Across from the elevator? But Lana was the chief prosecutor, wasn't she? No, silly. Didn't I tell you? 2 years ago, Lana was a detective. She was the best in the entire force. What? That is news to me. After the Joe Dark case, she was transferred to the prosecutor's office and made chief prosecutor. Lana used to be a detective. I'd better have another talk with her. Let us go. Hey, what's up? Lana. Mr. Wright, it seems I keep causing you trouble. Falsifying evidence. I didn't think you were the type. Criminals don't mind playing foul. Why should we? But Lana, if you're wrong, an innocent person might be found guilty. Believe me, I understand the risks. Lana, Emma told me about you. Oh? About how you were a detective 2 years ago, and you're currently single, and how the SL9 incident was the reason for your transfer to the prosecutor's office. Our boy Jerome! There he is, in the back. That's right. Could you fill me in on the details, especially about the unusual change of jobs? I suppose you have a right to know, Mr. Wright. A lot of revelations were uncovered at the trial today, not the least of which was the fact that this case is largely connected to another one 2 years ago. Evidence from that case was stolen as well, though I expected as much. I know how obsessive Officer Marshall can be. That trial, it really wasn't fair, was it? I believed in you, Lana. I believed that no matter what happened, you'd always stick to the truth. It couldn't be helped, Emma. At that trial 2 years ago, I sold my soul. Well, all drama aside, the fact of the matter is, at 5:15, there was no murder at the police department. Tell me it's not true, Lana, what the witness, Miss Starr, said. About you stabbing Mr. Goodman with a knife. Lana, I don't understand. Why won't you tell us? Emma, this doesn't involve just me. I don't think I've ever seen Lana look so fazed before. 1 million sandwiches to legally change your middle name to either Jerome or Cualdus or Schniller. Okay. That'd be 1 billion sandwiches. It's true, I was a member of the police force 2 years ago. She was amazing. They still talk about all the cases she and Chief Gant cracked together. Chief Gant. He was the deputy chief of police back then, but he still worked the crime scenes. Damon Gant. He was everything I aspired to be. They were the best team ever. They solved crimes before the reports could even be filed. Emma really idolizes her big sister. But now you're chief prosecutor. What happened? I always planned on becoming a prosecutor. The reason I became a detective was to gain experience investigating crime scenes, so she could use that experience in court, right? Gant's help in the SL9 case was crucial to its resolution. After that, he became chief of police and arranged my transfer to the prosecutor's office. I will save up. Maybe I should ask more about this investigation of theirs 2 years ago. 2 years ago, I was second in command of the detectives investigating Dark. Second in command. That means the investigation lead was Damon Gant, right? Yes, Deputy Chief Gant and I shared the same office and the same investigations. They even had the same office. We led a team of the best detectives on the force. Detective Goodman, whose case it was, Jake Marshall and Angel Starr. It was the first time Marshall worked with his brother. He was quite gung-ho. Without a doubt, Joe Dark was the serial killer. We asked him to come in for questioning. We were desperate for evidence. That was when his final murder took place, when he tried to murder Emma. Prosecutor Marshall was trying to save me from Dark. You see, the first person who happened upon the scene of the crime was me. Now you tell us. Damon Gant and Neil Marshall were the ones questioning Dark that day. The investigation went into its final stages, and Dark must have suddenly panicked. So he waited until Gant and Marshall let their guards down, then fled the room. From there, he ran straight to the office shared by Deputy Chief Gant and myself. That's where he found me. So you were the first person to run to the scene, Lana. It appears so. I was filing some papers while Gant and Marshall were questioning Dark. Then I returned to my office. I saw 3 bodies on the floor and smelled blood. So this picture does not make a lot of sense. So, especially because if my theory of Emma was the one who killed Neil, the place where he's stabbed doesn't make sense. Also, if you see that's the switchblade, that's right here. The blade is broken. So, I wonder if the other piece is inside Neil. Fucking ads. When I returned to my office, I saw 3 bodies on the floor and smelled blood. 3 bodies: Prosecutor Marshall, the victim Emma, who had passed out, and the suspect Joe Dark. During the struggle, it seems Mr. Marshall struck a final blow before he died. Joe Dark had incurred a minor concussion and lay unconscious. What did you do? To be honest, I panicked. I picked up Emma, carried her out of the room, and just held her. Can't blame her. After all her sister must have gone through. After that, I placed Dark under immediate arrest. Let me get this straight. You were all involved in the SL9 incident. That's right. Quite a coincidence. I don't buy it. What are you saying? There's no way everyone involved in this trial was also involved in that incident. Just by chance. But that case was solved 2 years ago. At least one person went to extremes because they didn't believe it was truly solved. Officer Marshall. Yes, his actions came as a surprise to me as well. Ever since his brother died, he's changed completely. I guess he wasn't convinced with the ruling against Joe Dark. Life doesn't end with the closing of a case. Everyone has to live the rest of their lives with their memories. That case just might not be over yet. Emma was assaulted by Dark at the police department, right? Yes, in the office that Damon and Gant and I shared. The office that Mr. Gant now occupies by himself, the Chief's office. Maybe we should have a look at the Chief's office, the site of the final SL9 murder. I'm back. What's up, brother? I'm gonna go everywhere first. Before I head there. I probably won't be able to head there anyways because it's gonna go say, fuck you, you can't. February 21st. No one's here today, not even Miss Starr. Everyone's probably busy looking into what exactly happened. Went down in the evidence room. That must be where the detectives are. But we proved in court today that on the day of the crime, no one was murdered in the evidence room at 5:15. Yeah, I thought we were finally making some headway in our case, but instead it looks like we just ended up making Lana look even more guilty. Hang in there, Lana. I've got to find all the answers by tomorrow. Alright, there's probably nothing for me here then. I'll go here just because why not? Mr. Edgeworth isn't here. Maybe he's being questioned by an inquiry committee. He took a real beating in court today. Yeah, with Lana admitting to falsifying evidence 2 years ago. I guess we'll just have to come back later. Alright. Let's go here. There's the fucking blue badger. Oh, what's up? Howdy, Bambina. Hey, do you still have your job somehow? Oh, Mr. Marshall. I never thought things turned out this way when I woke up this morning. Okay, Sarah. You never know where life will lead you, eh, Bambina? I should have known my luck had ran out when old Billy dried up this. What the fuck? Wasn't here, maybe. Must be his pet cactus. Say, where are you headed? Just over to the prosecutor's office for a little interrogation. It's a voluntary appearance, but we all know I won't be coming back. Sorry, but you can't go in the evidence room today, partner. But Mr. Marshall, why did you do it? Why do you prospectors head west? If ever there was a case I needed to know the truth about it, it was that one. Before you turn yourself in, Mr. Marshall, would you mind tell us exactly what happened? Looks like I won't be getting a steak quench today. Something was fishy about that trial from the beginning. It wasn't just me either. All the detectives thought so. What do you mean fishy? Some of the facts reported were inconsistent with the evidence we found. Yeah. And also, Angel Starr, the reason she doesn't trust prosecutors and lied so much in court and refused to give evidence is because she just doesn't trust them. And it all stemmed from this case. Some of the facts reported were inconsistent with the evidence we found. For example, the murder weapon. The murder weapon. You mean that switchblade knife with the broken tip? That was Joe Dark's all right. But in the initial autopsy report, a question was raised. A question. The blade of the knife was not a perfect match with the wound the victim sustained. What does that mean? It means there is a good chance that knife was not the murder weapon. Here we go. However, in the report that was finally submitted, that possibility had been erased. Could the facts have been concealed with forged evidence? That case left behind scars on all of us. The scars that the SL9 incident left behind? I got the looks, but he got the brains. He was one of the best prosecutors around. I had just made detective when it went down. It was our first case together. How old was he? Your brother? He was 27 at the time. He was awarded the highest honor that very day. The highest honor? You mean the king of prosecutors. I knew it. What are you looking at me like that for? That's an honor for a prosecutor. Mr. Marshall must have really been close with his brother. The day the SL9 incident took place, that wasn't the same day as... That's right. It was the day of the evidence transferal. Interesting. It was drizzling that morning, and by nightfall, there was thunder. I can't believe 2 years have gone by already. I tried to steal the evidence so the case wouldn't die. Apparently someone tried to stop you. Detective Goodman was murdered, and the evidence locker was empty. There was something going on behind the scenes in that case. We all knew that later. Every detective involved in that investigation, save one, was taken care of. Right, Goodman still had his job. But Miss Starr was fired and I was demoted and boxed away in a tiny room. What about Detective Goodman? If they did something to him too, the commissioners would get suspicious. No, they were careful enough not to be too obvious. They? Who are you talking about? Don't get upset, Bambina. I mean Damon Gant and Lana Skye. The investigation lead, Damon Gant, and his second-in-command, Lana Skye. There wasn't a person on the force who hadn't heard of that duo. That case was the biggest step in both of their careers. After the case ended, Lana transferred to the prosecutor's office, right? Yeah, Damon Gant, the new chief of police, arranged for that to happen. She's never been the same since she left. Everyone who knew her said so. Chief Prosecutor Skye was totally different when she was a detective. Now that he mentions it, Emma said something like that too. Tell me, what happened to my sister? Sorry, Bambina, but her secret is too well guarded. I never found out. Lana's secret. It all started 2 years ago. So there you have it. That's my story. Did you enjoy it, partner? It was certainly enlightening. There's one thing for sure I found out in court today. That boy Edgeworth isn't my enemy. He was the one who used falsified evidence to get a guilty verdict. But someone else was the one who gave him that evidence and planned everything. That someone is Damon Gant. Don't believe me? Well, I don't blame you. I won't even be a patrolman after today. The fuck? Have you not been drinking this entire time? Did you just now spit out the cap? What was that? What just happened? Okay. Buddy? Pretending to drink? He's really drinking now. Too bad I won't be around to work with you when you become a real scientific investigator. Adios, Bambina. All right. Yes, so let's go here. This place is always pretty empty, but today it's deserted. That must mean everyone's busy solving crimes. Oh, if you're looking for the others, they're all in the conference room. Thanks. Wow, he actually talked to us. With the chief prosecutor saying what she did and the decision about what to do about Mr. Edgeworth, not to mention our statement to the media in tomorrow's trial, there's more chaos going on than Thanksgiving and Christmas put together. I think festive is the word usually used for those. Sir, we'd like to have a look around Chief Gant's office. Just use the connecting hallway to the other building and take the elevator to the top floor. Really? You mean it's okay for us to go in there? I mean, we aren't police officers or anything. Hey, you're right. You can't go in there. It's off limits. Now I see where Detective Gumshoe gets his unique charm. Well, what are we waiting for? Let's head to the chief's office. We're gonna go there anyways. Fuck you, buddy. What the hell? Brother Man's got an entire organ in here. Here's the baseball theme again. Whoa, where am I? In the chief's office, silly. At least that's what it said on the door. Check out that pipe organ. That's real, isn't it? Hey, I used to take organ lessons in kindergarten. Kindergarten? The fuck? Now a ghost is playing the organ? Yeah. They used to call me Little Miss Bach. I thought I was a genius until they tried. Okay. Never could remember where C was. Oh, it's right after B and right before D. There it is! The statue! You know the statue I was talking about? That actually killed Neil? There it is, it's literally there. The theory still stands. Oh, it's you two. Chief Gant. He put that paper he was reading in his desk. So, Righto, have you been... An organ is one of the most hardest instruments I play. I don't think a 5-year-old can play it. An organ is pretty difficult. Have you ever been to Organ Stop Pizza? Not only is the pizza great there, they have a fucking organ there that somebody will play on. The pizza is delicious, I know. Organ Stop Pizza has some good ass pizza. Along with your awesome show of a guy playing the organ. It gets lifted up into the air. It's, oh my god. So, Righto, have you been swimming lately? No, I haven't. I've been kind of busy lately. I can appreciate that. I've had my hands full too with Mr. Marshall's conduct and Lana's provocative statement. Provocative statement? Oh, you mean about the forged evidence? 2 years have passed since that incident. My, how time flies. See that big picture on the wall over there? That's a picture of Lana, Neil, and me. And also see the trophy. It's broken. It used to have a sword on it. So this is Mr. Marshall's brother, Prosecutor Neil Marshall. Mango. Thank you, Brandon. With the sword on the statue, yeah. We took it to commemorate our work together. Something's not right with this picture. I can't quite seem to put my finger on it, though. Dude, whenever I hear this song, I just think of baseball. I don't know why. Thank God it's ending, though. Anyway, I'd like to reminisce all day, but there are matters that need my attention. I'm going to lock up here, so let's go out together. Oh, but this office. It was a crime scene 2 years ago, wasn't it? That case has long since been over. There's no need to investigate it anymore. All the same, we'd still like to have a look around. Perhaps you didn't hear me. I said there's no need to investigate it anymore. Well, fuck you! I'm doing it anyways! Now hurry up and get out. I have a meeting to attend. Looks like we aren't welcome. It seems that case isn't over with yet after all. What do you mean? Chief Gant denied our request to search the crime scene. That means there must be a reason he doesn't want us looking around in there. You mean like a clue? There's gotta be a way we can get inside the chief's office. I'm gonna scale the building. I'm literally going to climb the building. Go in through the window. Alright, well let's go back in here, just see if anything's changed. Hey pal, hey, can you get me into Chief Gant's office? He'll be like, yeah, sure. Detective Gumshoe, aren't you supposed to be in a meeting? I'm just taking a breather. My feet hurt. Why are you standing? From sitting so long? No, your ass would hurt if you're sitting. Actually, from serving everyone coffee. Ah. Makes sense. Sounds like Detective Gumshoe's still out of the loop. Say, have either of you seen Mr. Edgeworth? Edgeworth? No. Why do you ask? He's under fire from both the police department and the prosecutor's office. It's almost like the battle's between you two in court. That sounds serious. Is it because of what my sister said? That's basically what it all boils down to. That falsified evidence 2 years ago. Now Mr. Edgeworth has the whole world after his blood. Yikes. Gumshoe, my boy. I did. Okay. Let's see. All right, listen. I know we're just looking at Gumshoe here, but I'm gonna go eat lunch with my dad. The two of us are going to Pepper Jack's. Have you guys been to the new location? Pepper Jack's just opened up again. No? Yeah, I'm gonna start stream. I'm gonna stream again after lunch, though. I'm gonna come back. So maybe in an hour or so, I'm gonna start streaming again. But yeah, my dad and I are gonna go have lunch, and then we'll come back. Oh, I'm gonna use my phone to cheat my math test. That a boy. Listen, I mean, listen, we might all rip on Brandon for cheating on his math test, but I'm gonna be honest, I also cheated on my math test, so I'm not, listen, nothing against you, brother. Sandwich redeems. Stream over.